Well. How's it going out today, boys and girls in sporting land? This is JPC with J&J Outlaw Sports, and I'm with you guys and gals who are the home of the common Joe and the common Sally. And no, even more so than those media talking heads. As you can see behind me, class, picked up a little something from a place called Tanny Hill State Park this past weekend. Every third weekend of the month, they have this thing at Tanny Hill State Park in McCalla, Alabama, not too far from Tuscaloosa, situated between Tuscaloosa and Birmingham off of exit 100. But it's like a big yard sale, really, but the merchandise is a little bit better than yard sales. They got everything from these kind of little trinkets to weaponry to clothes, placards with old school bands and old school movies on them. It's just a real interesting spot to go. If you've never been, you need to give it a try. Plus, they got good food, grilled Cajun cob corn, and homemade lemonade. It's awesome. Also, I picked up a South Dakota State hat this past weekend. I ordered it because I just love college football. This should show you guys and gals that even though I have a favorite team, this love of college football with me, it's just unbridled. So, yeah, South Dakota Jackrabbits, baby. Probably the most unique nickname and unique helmet scheme of all time. Now, moving on. What we're going to discuss today is the 7 coaches on the hot seat, which is on page 25 of one of the college football Bibles, that being Lindy's and the other one being Athlin's. Check it out. But I'm not just going to give you the 7 coaches on the hot seat according to Lindy's, but I'm also going to give you 3 or 4 candidates that might be their replacement. But before I get to that, I would like to ask you guys and gals once again to like, share, comment, and what class? Subscribe to this channel. Please subscribe to this channel. We're on fire here lately. We got gained 17 subscribers this past week off that horns down video that I did for my car. So get on board and let's get to that 1,000 mark so we can have that tailgate party, hopefully, that I've been promising you guys and gals, and that way we can all just have a good old time. Now, the 7 coaches on the hot seat. Let's start with Scott Frost. My. I bet you they wish they never got rid of Frank Solich back in the late 90s and early 2000s. While Frank did have a few subpar years, he also went 12-1, 11-2. So I think they probably wish they hadn't done that, but he was fallen a legend in Tom Osborne, so they just didn't know what they had until it was gone, like the old Cinderella song. But this may be the job that finally gets Brent Venables away from Clemson. Now, I know a lot of Clemson fans think that because he's told them and he's told them the political speak that, oh, I love this place, my family loves it and all that. When a big program like Nebraska or a traditional program like Nebraska comes calling, he's going to listen and he may leave. Y'all can believe it or not believe it. But I think it'd be a good spot and outside the box kind of thinking for Nebraska if they hired Brent Venables away from Clemson. Also, Chris Kleiman, who is a guy that used to be the head coach at North Dakota State, won 7 or 8 national championships there. Now he's at Kansas State, so he's a Midwestern type guy. So he knows the landscape there. So I think they should make a run at Chris Kleiman as well. They would also probably take a swipe at Matt Campbell. They may not be able to get Matt Campbell because Iowa State seems like they're ponying up. People say, well, if he wouldn't go to the Detroit Lions, why would he go to Nebraska? Who the hell wants to go to Detroit? If you're going to play, or not play, but if you're going to coach an NFL team, why won't you go to Detroit? Yeah, I know the money's good, but man, Detroit, it's just been like an albatross on the NFL where they can't win, man. They can't win Detroit for whatever reason. So I think that they should make a run at Matt Campbell, see if they can get him. And if not, they really should make a run at Luke Fickell as well of Cincinnati. And yes, they can get him too. So, moving on, Justin Fuentes. Once again, this may be a spot for Brent Venables where he could go. Virginia Tech, not quite the tradition of Nebraska, but Virginia Tech is also a good spot for Brent Venables. It's similar to Clemson and the way the town's situated. It's a smaller to mid-sized town that's die hard for their university, sort of like Tuscaloosa in Alabama. So it would be right up Britton Venables' avenue, the kind of place he would like to live, a place that he's sort of familiar with, and a good place for his family. So keep him in mind for that job as well. Jamie Chadwell of Coastal Carolina would definitely come up for this job. Once again, let's not go into all these tirades and being in denial that these coaches will leave for a bigger name program. Bill O'Brien of Alabama, the offensive coordinator, he used to be the head coach at Penn State and at the Houston um, Texans. He is not going to be at Alabama long, probably. He's just too good. And if he does well this year as the offensive coordinator, I look for a lot of teams to go after him. Virginia Tech could be one because Bill O'Brien has coached in that area. Dana Holgorsen of the Houston Cougars, they said he's on the hot seat as well. How fitting. I know the West Virginia fans probably like that because the way he left in the middle of the night. It only serves him right because I've always thought Dana was a pretty shady guy. To replace Dana, I think this would be a good first step for Alex Grinch, the defensive coordinator of Oklahoma. I think he would do really well in Houston. I think it'd be a good stepping stone for him to maybe move on to a bigger and better job down the road, maybe a Big Ten spot. But I think he needs to coach somewhere else first before he does that. Blake Anderson is a name I keep hearing too. Guy at Utah State. He left Arkansas State. I think he's got like a 51-37 record. So moving back closer to this area that he likes would be a good thing for Blake Anderson, and also probably a good thing for Houston. Another guy in the rough that I've been talking about for a while, that whoever grabs this guy up or can get him is going to get a good one, and that's Bill Clark of UAB. If Houston could get Bill Clark, I think that'd be a good nugget for them. A guy that would probably put them back on the map and maybe even get them in a big name conference. So just keep Bill Clark in mind. Dino Barbers of Syracuse, he got off to a decent start at Syracuse, and it's just like now he's just bottomed out. They're saying he's on the list. Once again, a lot of offensive and defensive coordinators, a lot of them out there that would probably consider this job as a good stepping stone. Tony Elliott is an offensive-minded coach. Syracuse likes offense, so don't be surprised if Syracuse goes after the offensive coordinator Clemson and Tony Elliott. Possibly Jim McElwain, the Central Michigan coach. He was a good coach at the lower to mid-level Power 5 before, and if he can continue to do decent at Central Michigan, he'll probably get called back up again. Syracuse would be a good spot for Jim McElwain, in my opinion. Now, also for Purdue, Tony Elliott once again would be a good landing spot for Tony Elliott. Purdue is an offensive-minded school here lately. So Tony Elliott would definitely be a good fit for Purdue, I think, if they were to go after him. And any number of other offensive coordinators and defensive coordinators could be considered for this job because Purdue they usually don't go after a head coach. So we'll see. Now the two big ones are Clay Helton. Clay Helton and Jim Harbaugh are the two big ones that they got on this list. Clay Helton, once again, Chris Kleiman could be on the list right here, as well as Kyle Whittingham because he's closer to the West Coast. And Kyle Whittingham's been at Utah for a while, and there again, don't say he won't leave because sometimes coaches get bogged down and they want a new challenge. And I think Kyle Whittingham, the way he's come in and brought Utah up and kept them going after Urban Meyer left, I think he'd be a great fit with USC. But the one big name that keeps popping up, and it popped up last time when they were talking about getting rid of Clay Helton, is James Franklin of Penn State. James Franklin's name keeps popping up because from what I understand, I don't think James Franklin is really that happy at Penn State like a lot of the Penn Staters think. So don't be surprised if James Franklin ends up getting a call for the job at USC as well if Clay Helton does lose his job. And don't be surprised if James Franklin takes the job at USC. Now the last one's the big one, Jim Harbaugh. A lot of people thought he might be gone after last year. He still has yet to beat Ohio State. If Jim goes 10-2 this year, or something like that, or 9-3, I don't think they'll get rid of him. If he goes 8-4 or 7-5 or worse, he may be in trouble. If he is in trouble, and if he does get gone, I think that Michigan will probably go after Luke Fickell first, just because Luke Fickell used to be, I think he was like the interim coach at Ohio State for a short time, maybe a year. I think that they would go after Luke Fickell just because of the success he's had at Cincinnati and in the Big Ten area, and that would be sort of sticking it to Ohio State. Luke would have a real axe to grind with Ohio State because he wanted that job before they went after Urban Meyer. So I think Michigan would definitely go after Luke Fickell and probably take a swing at Matt Campbell as well, just like Nebraska. I think Michigan may have a better chance at getting Matt Campbell just because of where they're located, and it looks like it's pretty well situated to better recruit to than Nebraska. And also, once again, Alex Grinch, who's from that area, he's coached in that area. He was at Ohio State. I think Alex Grinch would definitely be a good candidate for this job. It's just he's never had a head coaching job, and that may work against him. But there again, might be a nugget, might be a gold nugget in the rough for Michigan if they went after Alex Grinch. Now, the dark horse in all this, and once again, people are going to say, no, this wouldn't happen, but it will. It would happen. Bob Stoops. Bob Stoops is from that area. He's from the Midwest, or not the Midwest, but the upper Mid-East, northern part of the United States. He's from Ohio, which is really close to Michigan. Bob Stoops has never got the call from Ohio State. This could be one for him to maybe, poke an eye for Ohio State as well. People at Oklahoma that says that Bob Stoops will never coach again because his heart was with Oklahoma must not have been paying attention when his ass went and tried to coach the XFL. Bob is not through coaching. Bob wants to coach again, and if Michigan were to offer him a job, Bob Stoops would take it. And that's all I got today for you guys and gals. You tell me who you think could be some dark horse candidates, or who you think would be the leading replacements if any of these 7 coaches lost their job. And with that, I'm going to get off of here. Like, share, comment, and subscribe to this channel. And as always, KMCA to all the other teams.